Good evening, paddlers. Welcome back to my channel. I say good evening, I've just got in. I've had a late one today, and this happens to be the best part of the day. The sun's out, it's been a bit dull and a bit cloudy while I've been out this afternoon. I ended up having a late paddle. Right, blame Amazon. You'll find out why when I actually post that video. I haven't even edited it yet, it's still on my camera. But while this is still fresh in my mind, I wanted to post this safety video. You probably gathered from the thumbnail, it's about somebody who could have died. Now, on that new spot of the river, right, up north of the River Rull, I've been up there a few times now because of King Kong left his Lego bricks, but you know all about that down the other end. Yeah. I bumped into a guy a couple of times, say hi, called Mark, just say hi and things like that and everything. And anyway, we actually stopped today. Now, I want to make this quite clear. This guy ain't a wimp or out like that, right? When you hear the rest of the story, you'll understand this could happen to anybody. And I'm posting this as a safety video, right? So this is for safety. You should know this. Okay. So Mark, if you watch this, I know you're not a subscriber, but you might subscribe because we was chatting. But if you happen to watch this, please, 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 I am not taking the pee out of you or trying to say anything bad about you. Yeah, this is simply, I'm doing this as a safety video to help other paddlers, right, who may be shocked at this video. Anyway, that's out the way now. Right, so I was talking to this guy and he asked me if I go sea kayaking, and I said it's been over 20 years since I've been in the sea in a kayak, so basically no. But I says to him, I've been thinking about it again recently, but I need to get a VHF radio and stuff, so I need to save my money up. And we got talking about safety. And he hadn't been paddling long, right? And he goes in the sea, but he doesn't have a VHF radio. He goes in the sea by himself. Occasionally there's others about, I suppose, but he goes in the sea by himself. He doesn't have a VHF radio out. And I says to him, I said, well, what happens if an emergency happened and you fell out your boat? I'd just climb back in, he says. So I said, have you ever tried that? And this is where people come unstuck. He'd never actually practiced getting in and out of his boat, right, from the water. And I know a lot of you out there haven't, right? Don't lie, you know you haven't. And I tell you what, I know, as he said, you fall in, you pull your skirt off, you climb out, you climb back in your boat. Now, that's like saying, how do you fly a plane? You sit in the cockpit, you take off, you fly. Now, I know that sounds stupid, but that is a good way of doing it. If you've never done it before, it's extremely difficult. So I said to Mark anyhow, I said, right, I'll bet you 50 quid, right, you can roll out your boat, climb out and climb back in again. He goes, you joking? I said, no, I will give you £50 if you can do it first time. Right, you're on, he says, no problem. Now, I turned my camera to record him and he said, no, I don't want you to record me. I definitely don't want recording. Well, I said, why? He said, no, I don't want to be recorded. Well, fair enough, you know what I mean? So, turn the camera off, that's why I'm telling you this story like this. Right. He rolls his boat and I nearly jumped in. I nearly almost jumped in because the water was all splashing. You knew we were panicking underneath. Now this guy ain't a whimper out like that. It was the shock, but I'll get back to that in a minute. Right. But as I was thinking about jumping in, I mean, you want under there minutes and minutes out like that, maybe 10 seconds. Right, but you could tell he was panicking. But he pops his head up, his boat's upside down, he grabs his boat and he's and the panic, the fear on his face was unbelievable. Now, like I say, I'm not calling this guy a wimp. I'm not calling you a wimp, Mark. Right? It's the shock of the unknown. It's like if somebody knocked at my door now and I went down and just opened the door and there was, I don't know, somebody dressed up as a clown with an axe in his hand, I'd go, what the? You know what I mean? It's the shock of the unknown. And he wasn't prepared for the unknown of being in water upside down. That's why naval pilots, right, practice that in like a simulator, being upside down in like a cockpit and stuff. But that's another story. I know I was never a naval pilot. That's something I've watched and read. But yeah, so he's holding on to his boat for sheer life, basically panicking like hell. I'm shouting at him to calm down, calm down. You've got a life jacket on. Calm down, calm down. So with this, he says, now what? And I said, right, I said, if you was in the sea by yourself, there'd be nobody to ask. And that's the thing, you need to know what to do. There's nobody there to tell you if you're by yourself. So I tell him to get to the front of his boat, try and lift it and roll it, get some of the water out of the water. He could not do that. He could not do that. So I rolled his boat for him, got his boat emptied, got it the right way around. And he tried to climb back in, and he tried, and he tried, and the poor bugger, right, could not get back in, and he was starting to panic and panic and panic. Right, so I says to him, calm down, calm down. So let's take a break. Right, and we sort of like got to the side for a second or two, let's say. He calmed down. Like I said, this guy ain't a wimp or out like that. This would happen to you. If you've never done it before, this exactly the same scenario, this would happen to you. You'd be panicking, you'd be, oh my God, you know, I don't care if you go swimming or out like that. This would happen to you because it's the unknown. It's the unknown if you've never done it before. That's why I'm making this as a safety video. Alright, so anyway, we'll try again. Alright, get to the point where the boat's the right way up again. Alright, and I tell him what to do. I'm not turning this video into a how-to. Right, so I'm not even going to start discussing stuff, but I tell him how to get back into his boat. And after a bit, he actually managed it. Right, but he was dead to the world. Now this is on dead calm river water. Not in the sea where there's a few waves and it's a hell of a lot colder and your brain might even play tricks on you. You know what I mean? So I says, do you want to have another go? Just so you've got an idea, seeing as you're already wet type thing. And he goes, yeah, you know what I mean? Because at this point I was starting, now I'm not trying to sound clever here, but I was starting to give him advice, right, on what to do and things like that, so he knew if this ever did happen to him. So anyway, he's back in the boat, he tips up again, but this time no skirt. He didn't connect his skirt because that was he panicked trying to get his skirt, because you have to imagine when you're underwater and you're reaching for that release handle of your skirt, you're upside down, you're in pitch blackness, no point opening your eyes, water's all in and you're in where it's pitch black, right? So you can do it with your eyes shut basically. But so no skirt this time. He rolls over, he gets out a lot easier and he's on top of his boat again, but you could see he was panicking again. He couldn't get his boat tipped up right the right way around, and because he was panicking he couldn't get back in, and then all of a sudden panic just took over and he let go of his boat. He let go of his boat, he let go of his paddle, right? Everything I'd said to him went out the window and it was just survival mode, swim to the shore. And he swam to the shore and his boat went bye-bye. And I says to him, I said, Well, let's just jump to the future. We got his boat back. Okay, now we're on dry land. And I says, you let go of your bloody boat. If you was in the sea, you're in a world of trouble now. And he actually shook my hand and he says, George, I'd be dead. I had no idea it was that difficult. Thank you. And like I said, he thanked her, shook my hand, because he had no idea. He just assumed, like a lot of you out there, I'm sorry, if you fall out, yeah, you get wet, get cold, I'll just climb back in. It's not that easy. You need to practice it. Now, this is the point of the story. Now, remember, I'm not picking on Mark. He's not a wimp or out like that. It would be the same for anybody. I can vaguely remember when I was learning how to get back into a kayak and how to roll, Eskimo roll type thing. And I think I used to do a butterfly roll. But that was years ago. I can't do it now. I cannot roll a kayak now because of my dislocated collarbone. I've gone into that in other videos. But if I tried to lean into the position for rolling, even a butterfly roll, I'd be in more trouble. It'd be easier for me now if I fell out, just correct my boat and climb back in. I wouldn't even attempt to roll. But yeah, you have to practice, right? It's such a, I said, Mark, I am not picking on the guy. This would happen to you, to anybody for the first time. He panicked, panic set in, and survival mode took over. It's a natural instinct. Probably goes back to the caveman days when they saw the first dinosaur, somewhat, run! Right, it's a natural instinct to panic for the unknown. You have to practice, practice, practice. I would advise practicing, never practice alone. If you have to, you have to, right? But if you're going to practice alone, have a line tied to your boat and be close to an area where you can easily get out the water. Right? And I say have a line tied to your boat just in case you let go of it and your boat floats off. It's easy, you can just pull it back. Right, but it's best there's two of you. Okay, a good way, you have to get used to the water. A good way is you've got a life jacket on, just lay face down in the water. Right, just lay face, two of you, just lay face down in the water. Just get used to being underwater. Right, lay on your back, trust your life jacket, your PFD, trust your gear. And then practice, practice, practice. Like I said, I'm not turning this into a how-to. That's why I haven't even gone through the procedure of actually getting back into your boat. There are hundreds, probably thousands of videos on YouTube showing you how to do it. But your best bet is find somebody who knows how to teach you. Please don't send me 1,000 emails. Local clubs or stuff like that, or if you're out on the water with your friend, right, just say to him, do you actually know, have you done it, how to get back into it? And if they do, they'll teach you. It is a skill you must learn. Not as much on a river, okay, a big open river or a huge lake, yeah, right, but on sort of like rivers near us, like River Roll that I paddle on, if something happened, I could easily swim to the shore. You get me? You're only talking 60 foot or whatever. But if you're going in the sea, you don't necessarily, even though it's an excellent idea, you don't necessarily need to know how to Eskimo roll, but you do need to know how to get back into your boat. And you should have practiced it. Go out one hot day or whatever. Practice it for 6 or 7 hours. I don't mean non-stop. Practice a couple of times, then stop, have a coffee or whatever, and then think about what you're doing. Talk to your buddy who will explain things. You know what I mean? I don't just mean non-stop for 6 hours. Right? But you must learn. And like Mark says, he said the words. If he'd have been in the sea, he'd have probably died. And he probably would. Because of the panic, let go of the boat, starting to swim. Now, Swimming in a river with a PFD or a life jacket on is bloody difficult. Now you imagine trying to swim in the sea. Right, you've got your undercurrent, you've got your waves and stuff. Okay, it might be a calm day. It's still bloody hard to swim with a PFD on, and in the sea it's 10 times harder. And if you've been silly enough to go quite a reasonable distance out, I don't mean miles and miles, but a reasonable distance out, can you swim that far back with a life jacket on? And I don't recommend you taking your life jacket off either. All right. But yeah, Mark, if you do watch this, please, 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 I am not making this to embarrass you. All right. And if I did video the thing, which I didn't, but if I did, I wouldn't show it. Well, not without your permission, obviously. But I didn't record it anyway. But I wanted to. I've thought about this, right? And I thought, should I or shouldn't I? Should I or shouldn't I? And I thought, yeah, this could be a valuable. This could save somebody's life actually. And I'm not trying to be over dramatic. This video could. This story could save somebody's life, because a lot of paddlers think it is really, really easy to get back into a kayak. Now, I'm not talking about the real wide inflatable, you know, that Easy Light 10 I've got, that new one, that inflatable, that is easy to get back in, right? You basically just flop on it and climb back in. I'm talking about a more traditional style kayak, where you sat in a cockpit, you might have a skirt on or out like that. And just because you know how in your head doesn't mean you can do it in real life. Like I said, Mark's been paddling a year, maybe 2 years, and he's a pretty good paddler, right? We've talked, I've seen him. I think he's been in one of my videos. I've recorded him as he's like coming towards us. I've said, "Hey, well, whatever." But yeah, he was so shocked and so surprised. Like I said, he shook my hand. He said, "Thank you. I had absolutely no idea that I could have actually died if I'd been in the sea." And he said he wants to keep practicing. Right, so there you go. And right, now let's assume you've practiced, you've learned, and that let's say you've been out all day, and the last 3 attempts you've got back into your boat easily. So you've got it in your head now, you know exactly what to do, you're fine. Alright? It's a skill you can forget. You really, right, even though you know how to do it, maybe once a year, deliberately fall in and climb back in a couple of times, just so you keep it fresh in your head. Now I should hold my hand up to that because I haven't rolled or fell into the water and had to climb back in myself in years and years and years and years, and I haven't re-practiced it, and I should, and really I will. I'll even stick a tripod up on dry land and try and record it for you, so you get an idea. But like I said, there's hundreds of videos out there showing you how to do it. But it is something I myself should practice, because even though I did practice it a lot and I got it down second nature, and it was not trying to be clever, but it become easy to me. I could basically get in within 60 seconds of being on the water, in the water, I could be back in the boat. Right, but it is a skill you can forget, so you should re-practice once a year, or once every couple of years if you like, but just something to keep it fresh in your head. I do know a lot of sea kayakers, who actually go, like David Poots, almost every single time he goes out in the sea, he'll end up rolling his boat once or twice, just for fun and just for practice. You get me? Even though he doesn't have to, he hasn't fell in. He just, I'm here, I'll make sure I can still roll type thing. Well, not make sure I can still roll. Sorry, David, I know you can roll. Just like refresher, practice, bit of fun for him. But it's also muscle memory. Yeah, it's something you should know how to do. So like I said, David, Right, that's because of David. I just talked about David Pooch. He said, Mark. Right, I'm not picking on you, but I thought the story was important. And as you said, you could have died. You could have died. And can you get back into your kayak? If you fall in, have you practiced it? Make sure you do, or you could end up dying. Okay then, paddlers, I'm going to leave this one here, and I'm going to say it one more time. Mark, I have not made this to embarrass you, and as I've said to everybody else, it's not as if he's a whimper out like that, right? Just because he panicked. It was the shock of the unknown. You get me? Just the shock of the unknown for the first time. And that's what could happen to you and you at the back trying to duck down. Okay then, paddlers. I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to get my gear unpacked and have something to eat. Right then, I'll catch you all later. Cheers.